when we listen to the words karma, you automatically assume that, you know, you hear that saying that says, what you do unto somebody else will return, or, you know, what goes around comes around. But often, most people don't believe in karma, or they have heard the word karma, but they don't think that it, you know, it's going to happen to them. But I wanted to talk about that today, and go a little bit over about what karma is exactly, and how it affects you in the now and in the future. The thing with karma is that we are all held accountable, and I've said this in previous videos. We are spiritual beings living a human experience here on earth, but your soul is what karma is attached to, and so to speak. Basically, whatever we do here on the physical realm, here on earth, this is like school for us, remember. So whatever we do, whoever we impact, positive or negatively, karma is there. And certain belief systems, or certain spiritual teachings teach on the laws of karma or karma. There's karmic lessons, which I'll go into, and karmic debt, and how that, you know, plays into the future and into your current life right now. So the first thing that you need to understand is that we are all held accountable. What you do to somebody else, whether it's something good for them or something bad for them, you are held responsible for it, either here in the physical realm before, you know, you pass on, or if not, in the future when you are reincarnated or reborn, if you are reborn. Because again, everybody's different. Everybody's soul's path is different. But for the most part, I'm going to talk about karmic lessons. You know, and you may ask yourself, well, how do I know if I have karmic lessons from the past that are carrying out now in the future, you know, now in the present? The thing to ask yourself is to look at your life, like really analyze your life, and determine what areas that you're having the most struggle. There's themes. Everybody has a karmic theme. I call it a karmic theme, or a lesson that you know, is more pronounced, or it stands out the most, more than other things in your life. So for example, let's say you are a single mother, and you have had nothing but troubles after your divorce on finding a new love. And that's a common theme, so I'm just using this as an example. That would be something that would stand out to me as a karmic lesson for you. And you just have to ask yourself, you know, what is it in my life that I'm having the most difficulty? Is it, you know, financial hardships? Is it, you know, relationships? Is it self-love? You know, loving yourself and everything, you know, in your life? Is it forgiveness? The ability to forgive others and forgive yourself? So there's different, you know, aspects or karmic lessons that we have here in the physical world that we have to overcome. Now, a lot of people will ask, you know, well, why am I going through this now? And my answer to that is that you have not learned yet the lesson. In order to acclimate or surpass that karmic lesson, you have to really understand what has happened to you, and why, you know, it's happened. So it's like a cause and effect. The best way I can describe it is like in a past life. Let's say you cheated on your husband, and you never took love for granted, and you went on to another partner and you cheated on that person, and you moved on to another partner. Okay, well, you just created yourself some karma. Basically, you never valued love, or you weren't compatible. You know, you didn't find the compatibility, and in the process of doing that, even as harmless as it may seem, you know, and to us humans, it seems, you know, like, well, what's the big deal? You know, if he wasn't meant for you, why stay in that situation? And that's true, but at the same time, there's many things that play into that. You know, it's like a root and cause. Because you did something in the past, it's now playing out in the future, and it's a lesson for you to learn. So going back to that example, there's a lady, and she just went from partner to partner and never really found, but she was the cause of heartbreak for several of these men. Well, now let's say, this is Susan, and I'm just giving, just an example, a random name that I just pulled out. So Susan, there's Susan. And Susan now in this lifetime, she's 30 years old. She is divorced. This would be her second marriage that she just divorced from. She's single, and she's been dating for a while, but she hasn't been able to find the right partner. And then when she does, it just doesn't work out, and she finds a new partner, and the partners are similar to the last partner. They had the same kind of attitude, or they cheated on her, and she never found loyalty with them. These are themes, these are karmic lessons that should be sending red flags to you of what's going on. And it's not just because Susan did this in the past, in her past life, that she's going through this now. We can stop it. We can change the karmic lessons. But that's why when they say that karma, is, it does, it really is true. It does play out. And a lot of people really don't understand the severity of karmic lessons and karmic debt. When you have a lot of debt, it means that you have not been yet held accountable for it. It's going to follow you. It's going to follow you in the current life that you're in, or in future generations, future reincarnations when you come back to Earth, or whatever other dimension that you're in. So you have to. The only way to correct a karmic lesson or a karmic debt is to learn from it, and to change the patterns for the future. So a lot of people, like, let's say for example, going back to Susan. And Susan, she always gravitates towards these guys that are kind of rugged exterior, emotionless. They have no emotion. They're cold, but yet, they may be, very attentive to her needs. But, at the same time, they're very evasive for her. They don't really hold a bond or they don't see long-term relationships. They may have dependencies, These are things that Susan is not looking at, and she's not actually interpreting to understand the severity of the whole situation. Once Susan is able to, understand what is playing out in those things, she'll be able to change the partners that she's actually looking for, and look for someone who doesn't have those attributes, who doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, isn't an abuser, isn't a cheater, isn't somebody that's loyalty. And I know that that's kind of, listening to this video and you're thinking, well, that's kind of hard in the real world, to actually find. It's not really that hard. We're the ones who create our own hardships and our own karma. So due to free will, we have the ability to change anything that happens in our lives. So, if you have a certain theme that's replaying out for you, whether it's finances, your family, you feel like your family hates you and you're just, far away from them, or, if you've gone through a lot of other hardships and you don't understand, well, why, what is happening? You have to kind of there has to be a certain point where you say to yourself, okay, this must be happening, so I must have done something in my past life that is now, carrying out into the present. So, then this is the reason that this is occurring. So, it's very important that you actually, look into these areas to see what is that you need to actually work on in order to get that that level of karmic lessons, resolved and pushed aside, so that you don't have to worry about it anymore. Once you're able to do that, then you're able to move on to the next, the next lesson that you have set out for you. So, if you are a person out there that is struggling with, different themes in your life, you need to kind of set aside some time and say, well, what can I change about it? Maybe you're going to the wrong places to look for people. Maybe you are, you're not paying attention. You burst out in anger, or you may not have, your communication may not be the strongest with people when you're dealing with them, and you may choose to always, play the victim, or use words that that actually come across as hurtful to others. So it's very important to kind of, self-recognize those patterns and change them. And once you're able to change them, you're able to change your karmic patterns and your karmic lessons and the karmic debt that you have. And a lot of people have a lot of debt from previous lives. So let's say for Susan, for example, She may have had 5 previous past lives, and 3 of those she had the same theme recurring, but she never really learned the lesson that she was supposed to. And now in this lifetime, she's learned the lesson, and so basically it canceled itself out, and now she's able to find true love. So a lot of times people think that we create our own barriers in this physical life, but a lot of times, you know, it's not. That's why a lot of people go through past life regression, or trying to understand, you know, where the karmic patterns, or get past life readings to kind of find out, well, what, you know, really happened in my past life that is affecting me now. And it's very difficult to, you know, kind of understand that. But you know, whatever you do here, whatever words that you use, whatever, you know, there's a saying, and I'm trying to think of the exact words, and I mean, this may not come out right, but think before you act, before you speak, before you you say something, you know, and ask yourself, is it kind? Is it nice? Is it helpful? Or is it hurtful? And a lot of times, you know, we create our own karmic lessons, or we may have, you know, sometimes it may be a family thing, you know, where the whole family generation, your whole family, or your soul family in a past life, you know, had some kind of generational karmic debt, and it's carried off into the current, you know, your current family, and you're struggling, but you may not have really had it, but because they did it, you know, it kind of has impacted you and all your family. So a lot of people sit there, you know, and they'll say, well, I notice that, you know, my brother, my sister, or, you know, my cousin, you know, they all seem to have had bad luck, or have had, you know, all these failure in relationships or in their money, you know, a lot of bankruptcy or a lot of debt. And then they don't understand, well, you know, you may not understand, well, why are they going through that? And then you kind of have to say to yourself, well, it's karmic, you know, more or less it's karmic debt that's happening. It's karmic lessons that they have to learn. Will they learn it, you know, in this lifetime? It all depends on themselves. You are given the option to learn the lessons when you know, you have your blueprint, your life's blueprint before you actually come into the physical world. All these karmic lessons are tied into that. And so you have the ability, or the say, to learn it during this time, or in a different, you know, in a different lifetime. But it's all going to depend on you. And even if you had it, you know, set for not learning it in this lifetime, you can always alter that, and that's where free will comes into place. So just know that when you hear the words karmic debt or karmic lessons, it is something that it's like a root cause and effect, or cause and effect. Because you did something in the past, it will, you know, it is affecting you now. Or because you've done something now in the present, it will affect you in the future. And a lot of people think, well, you know, oh, well, I can do this and I can do that, and I'll never be caught, or I'll never be held accountable. And that's a big misconception, because it does catch up to you. It may not be a day, it may not be 20 days or 20 months from now, but at some point in your life, or on your next life that you have reincarnated, you will be held accountable for that, and you will have to answer to the higher power, and go through those karmic lessons. And they may be painful, you know, lessons that you have to learn. Like I said, and when I say painful, it's not to strike fear. This video is not to strike fear, but it's something to really consider, because a lot of people go throughout their life and they're oblivious or blind to the fact that, you know, that they have an impact on other people, or they have an impact on themselves. Because karmic lessons and karmic debt is not just because you've hurt somebody else, or you've done something, you know. It can be self-inflicted upon, you know, you have done something to your own self that, you know, you're not supposed to, wasn't part of your divine plan or blueprint in this lifetime, and so you're having to, you know, make amends for it. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you are watching this video on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button on the lower left hand side. It's a red button, and you'll be notified of any time, you know, any videos that I do release in the future. You can also visit my website, which my website was recently renovated, or modified. So it's www.psychicmediumray.webs.com. Again, that's www.psychicmediumray.webs.com. If you are on Facebook, you can go to my professional page. It's Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman. And if you're going on my website, I have actual icons for the different social media that you can actually just click on the icon and it'll take you straight to my pages, or you know, whatever social media you want to find me on. And if you're on Instagram, it's Psychic Medium Ray. So I want to thank you so much for tuning into this, and hope that you are enjoying your day. Blessings of love and light.